to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. Brooklyn mom with a history of mental illness issues is suspected of drowning her three young kids on Coney Island Beach early Monday, and she later confessed to family that she killed them. Erin Murdy's children, a 3-month-old Oliver, 4-year-old Liliana, and 7-year-old Zachary, were discovered unresponsive around 4:40 a.m. along the shorelines at West 35th Street, just 3 blocks from their mother's apartment. Murdy, age 30, told relatives that she drowned all 3 kids, and she was later found walking along the beach barefoot in a robe, appearing despondent. Quote, cops stated the mother was soaking wet. Whether she had been out in the rain or whether she had been in the water, again, it's all speculative at this point. She was wet, she was barefoot, and she was not communicative to officers. Police have obtained surveillance video that shows Murdy and her 3 children walking to the beach and then the mom returning without them. He was initially taken to the 60th precinct for questioning and then carted off on a stretcher to NYU Langone Hospital in Brooklyn. Quote, we're devastated. They were kids. They were adorable kids, and that was stated by her aunt. It's someone who was struggling, and no one knew how bad the struggle was. Stephan stated that Murdy's family has a history of mental illnesses, and her niece was struggling as she was trying to find her way through life. Quote, in this family, we do have a history of mental illness to a varying degrees. A few of us have battled with bipolar disorder, but I didn't know her mental struggles. I just knew she was trying to find a way for her children, a way to get on her feet. She loved her children. She loved her children very much. It was the mental illness issues that took over. Intensive search for the mother and the kids began about 3 hours before the children were found on the beach, when a relative called police expressing fears that the mom might have harmed the children. Police responded to the family's apartment on Neptune Avenue near West 33rd Street around 1:40 a.m. No one answered a knock at the door, but officers were met by the father of one of the kids inside the building. He stated he expressed similar concerns about the welfare of the mom and the kids and stated that he believed that they were on the Coney Island beach. Quote, I believe that she had called them and made statements to them to that effect. When asked why the family members believed the woman would harm her kids, law enforcement sources stated that numerous family members had called 911 to report Murdy may have done something to the kids, might be under the influence of alcohol or drugs, and has a history of mental health issues. A relative stated the mom admitted she drowned all 3 kids. After being directed to the beach to search for the mom and the kids, police swarmed the boardwalk, the shoreline, and the surrounding streets for about 90 minutes before they received another 911 call, sending them to Brighton Beach Boardwalk near Beach 6th Street. There, cops found Murdy and some of her relatives, but all 3 kids were nowhere to be found. The search then intensified, with NYPD, aviation, and the harbor units helping to scour the area for the missing kids. Authorities made the heartbreaking discovery of the children's unresponsive bodies about 2 miles from where their mother was found. Quote, the officers immediately initiated life-saving measures, including CPR on the children. The kids were rushed to Coney Island Hospital where they were regrettably pronounced deceased. So this is one of the main things that I've brought up a multitude of times before. I have, in a sense, had a slight experience with this before. I covered this, in a live stream, and one of the main things that I've always stated before, or I've tried to state it consistently, is that I would wish that a lot of these male hating platforms that quote unquote advocate for Black women and the betterment of Black women, I wish that they would actually do better for advocating for Black women by way of sending them to therapy and getting them the help that they need. they would offer therapy to these women. If you're able to make all of these views and they're donating all of this money, then you should help at least a few of the people that follow you with some therapy, some free therapy or something. Because uh, I've done too many stories where women will decide just at the flip of a hat, oh, I'm going to take the life of, the kids. I'm just going to do this for whatever reason. And the main thing that always comes up is like, oh, well, this person has, a mental illness. It's always, like I said, this is not me trying to be insensitive to the thing, but I'm like, bro, I'm like, come on now. I'm like, come on now. Like in the article, you got the family basically stating that they didn't know and all this other type of stuff, but yet you also state within the exact same breath that yeah, within our family we suffer through mental health issues. So common sense would basically state that yo, if somebody is born from our bloodline, 9 times out of 10, they're going to come out with some type of like issue. It's going to be a problem, right? Which means that you should be, in a sense, getting them the help that they need, or what have you. But then also within the same breath, you do have people out here that will just be like, "Yo, well, I don't feel like dealing with the kids no more. I don't feel like watching them. I don't feel like taking care. So I'm just going to sit up there and do this myself." Right? They'll go by that old thing that people would normally say, "I brought you into this world. I'll take you out." Right? Because a lot of parents feel that they have 100% ownership over that child. Like just because you gave life, that means that you can take the life of that same person. That's realistically, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. But you can't really tell people nothing. But like I said, it's like, and I already know that some people are going to state that, oh, well, what about the fathers? Like, why is the mother, the only one, getting blamed, right? Now, what they stated from the article, right, is that she had issues with trying to consistently hold, a relationship, right? Just being consistent on, certain things like that, right? This is what a relative, basically stated, right? And they stated this to the Post. They stated that Murdy appeared unstable in recent years and had trouble maintaining consistent relationships. Quote, there was a time when Aaron and I were in contact all the time, but in 2015, 2016, she disappeared off the earth. I don't know how to get in touch with her. And that was stated by her uncle. And he later stated, now I'm faulting myself for that. She obviously needed help, and you can't help but think maybe I could have, right? And that's what he stated. So if anybody wants to bring up the fathers, right? If this woman is unstable, how do we know that she made good choices in men that were actually going to be around? How do we know that if she's unstable, how do we not know that those men are also unstable as well? Right? Like I said, there could be a variety of instances or variables that could, be thrown directly in here. The main thing that I'm focused on is this is the fact. She cannot hold down consistent relationships even when it's with her family. So if she can't hold down a consistent relationship with her family, what makes anybody think that she's going to hold on to a consistent relationship when it deals with the children's father or fathers? What makes you think that? Right? And then he also stated this, right, in another article. The Brooklyn mom is suspected of drowning her three children Monday and was facing eviction from her apartment, battling custody issues and grappling with mental health woes before she allegedly took the life of her children. Erin Murdy, age 30, of Coney Island, owed more than 10 grand in back rent for her Neptune Avenue apartment, where she lived with her children and had been threatened with getting booted out since January, after the state's pandemic eviction moratorium expired. The mom, who allegedly told her family that she took the life of her three kids on a nearby beach on Monday, had stopped paying her $1,531 a month rent in July of 2021 and was served with an eviction notice days before the moratorium expired in January. So there's a lot of things, in a sense, going on, right? One could potentially try to assume that due to the fact that the mother was going to, right, we're going to go with the whole thing that's stated, right? She has mental health issues. One. Then I'm not sure where she's working or how it is that she gets money. That was not explained, but she stopped paying her $1,500 rent, right? Number two, she's been doing this long enough where she was basically behind by 10 grand, right? And then number what, four or five? I'm not sure which one I'm on. The She faced an eviction notice. They were going to basically throw her and her children directly out because she decided that she wanted to stop paying the rent for that apartment. So some people, or one could assume, that the mother might have done this because she was like, well, you know, things are getting tough out here and, it's hard taking care of the kids and keeping everything up. So one of these things has to go. One of these things has to go, right? Now, normally what should have happened was that, yo, I can't really deal with the kids no more. I can't really pay all the stuff no more. I need to figure some stuff out. Let me drop y'all off to the family. Let the family be y'all guardians. Let me sign over all these rights because I am not able. I am not stable enough in order to be the mother, right, that you need. That's from a rare few stories that I've seen that actually take place. But like I said, when I look at this whole spectrum of everything that takes place, everybody is in a sense to blame. The family knows bloodline wise that if somebody is born of that blood, that they're going to 9 times out of 10 have some type of mental disorder. The family knew of other people that were having and struggling, going through mental health issues and battles. And then they're going to sit up there and state that, oh, well, we didn't know. But yet you're going to basically state that, yeah, well, she has issues with not being consistent when it comes with being family and holding down those relationships and yada, yada, yada. Like I said, it's just very tough because it's like, yo, I don't try to like leave or have excuses or any type of like supernatural like door open where justification was like, well, this person had mental, health issues. This is why the kids are going. It's like that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. Like I said before, it's like the main people that were needed, which is the family, because the family is usually the backbone when it comes to things like this. The family, in a sense, wasn't even there. They knew, they had inklings, but it's like, from at least going by the information that I have, the family didn't really try to move. They didn't really try to have things happen. I've covered stories where family was like, "Oh, we see something's wrong. We're going to sit up there and take those kids by force, and then we're going to also sit up there and take you to court." I've seen families sit up there and move to make sure that nothing happens, to those kids. But if I'm to go by everything that was listed, everybody got mental health issues. So where realistically were those kids going to be 100% safe? Where? Where? And now because of all of this, now these kids are gone. They didn't even live a long time. They didn't even get to like a chance to see a lot of things transpire. They're just gone. As quick as they came here, they're gone. Like I keep saying, adults don't care about kids. Every time I do these stories, it's always adults out here taking the lives of kids, mistreating kids, abusing kids, selling kids, doing all of this stuff. It's not other kids doing this, not other children doing this. It's adults doing this. And then it always comes down to some type of excuse when it comes whatever, dog. Y'all can have it. Whatever.